welcome to Off Mute with Becky. This is where we have real conversations with the real people. This is a beautiful space, and we are just happy to have you join us today. I am your host, Becky, and I am an image consultant and personal branding coach. So today we have a wonderful guest that you're going to meet in just a few minutes. Rather not minutes, but seconds. So we want to talk about something that is in the line of unmuting yourself, but we will tell you more. So our guest today is Sakina Taki. Sakina, you are welcome to this show. So good to have you, Sakina.
Thank you. Lovely to be back.
Second time you're visiting us. This is really an honor to have you. So Sakina is the founder of Impasto Services and a pioneering organization focused on mental wellness and suicide prevention. She has applied a PhD in mental wellness. She's still going on in that.
Yes.
She'll tell us more about that. And an internationally certified coach through the International Coaching Federation. She is also one of the few accredited mental health first aid tutors in Africa.
The only one.
The only one.
Suicide first aid
Yes,
tutor.
we're going to double click on that and
Yes.
tell us what that means. Why are you the only one? All right, so we need to know why you're the only one. So her work has impacted individuals, organizations, and institutions, including collaborations with the Brain and Mind Institute at Aga Khan University. For those who don't know Aga Khan out there, Aga Khan is a major institution in Kenya. It is also is it also in Tanzania?
Yes, Tanzania, Uganda. But Aga Khan University is also based in Pakistan.
All right.
Yeah.
Good to know. Good to know. So she's going to teach us and tell us how she's also been able to navigate her own serious mental health challenges, and through that pain, how she's been able to come through and overcome that pain, and how she's been able to go through all that and build something that's not just helping her, but helping other people that she's been helping.
Yes.
Because we know you have really been a very credible, person to interact with. I have been in touch with you a few times, and I've heard what you offer, and it is really, really authentic and really deep.
Thank you.
And today's conversation is especially meaningful as we reflect on the spirit of International Women's Day. This is the month. And the powerful idea that when women give knowledge, mentorship, and support, we all gain.
Yes.
So we will be talking about that. But first, we want to hear your personal journey. Now, Sakina, you just did not land in this space.
Yes.
You just did not wake up and think, where is it I'll make more money? Where is it that I'll just, fit in and be popular and have all this influence? There's a journey. There's a reason why you found yourself in that space. Give us a bit of your personal story.
Sure, and thank you for asking that question. It really takes me to the root of why I do what I do.
Okay.
In about 2016, I went through a terrible dip, a mental health dip, you may say. But I had no clue what mental health was at that time. I used to suffer panic attacks, or you're feeling a certain way. You have no idea why you're feeling that. And at that point, mental health was, I would say, non-existent.
It was non-existent.
We had no
Not
idea.
in this region, yeah.
Yes. So I actually moved cities. It was so bad that I felt I needed to get out of this environment. And I packed my bags and I went to Zanzibar.
So
how lucky is that?
Why is Zanzibar?
So I had a mutual friend.
Okay.
And they wanted some work done in Zanzibar, and they had we were looking at about a 3-month contract, and I had nothing to lose. I literally packed my bags, didn't ask too many questions, went there, had no space to stay, crashed in my office space for the first 3 to 4 days.
Okay.
And that's how I started. But how this journey actually started is after I had healed. So in 2019, I came back to Kenya, and from 2019 August to Jan 2020, I didn't do much in the formal sector. I was heavily working in Tanzania. And in January, when I got got a job, literally everything shut down in a month or so because of COVID.
Yes, COVID happened.
And when COVID happened, I was very lucky at that time to have a partner who told me, listen, the world is shut. So if you've lost your job, it's absolutely fine. You know, we're at a space where we're very comfortable. Why don't you do something that you enjoy doing? And something that, you want to do. And I was like, fine. And I started penning down my book. Since grade 6, I'd loved poetry. I always used to write poetry. And, it kind of fizzles out somewhere.
Yes,
Life
it does.
happens.
Yeah.
And I sat down and I'm like, okay, I'm going to write about how I felt. And this my journey of whatever I experienced in Tanzania. And when I started writing poetry, and my editor was one of my uni friends who resides in UAE. His name is Ahmed Taj. And when he was reading my poetry and editing it, he told me, do you realize this is a mental health story? Oh. And, I looked at him via our very new Zoom interaction.
Yes.
And I'm like, what is that? What are you talking
Mental
about?
health, yeah.
And he's like, mental health, like what you were going through. And he is the first person who explained to me what is mental health.
Okay.
And then I started reading about it and I realized, oh, that was a panic attack. Oh my God, that was depression. This is when I was feeling very anxious. This is when I was having suicide ideation. And that's when I realized, oh my God, if years have passed by and I had no idea what I was going through, how many people out there are going through this right now and need to know that, hey, there's light at the end of the tunnel? And that's how I got into the mental health space. My background is in journalism. I studied a BA in broadcasting and journalism. At the point when I was penning down my book, which is called My Little Yellow Book, I was doing my MBA. So heavily into the business sector. I was working in sales development. I was working in marketing. And there was a sudden shift into knowing about mental health and how interesting it is. And this made me, make some very difficult decisions in my life and also question. So one of the things I did was I sat down with my mom and I questioned her about our genetics.
Oh.
Right?
Yeah.
The behaviors from her family, the behaviors from my father's family. And I started realizing a pattern.
Okay.
And it was all by self-study.
Yeah.
And that's how I got into the mental health space. And also having an MBA didn't stop me from starting right at the bottom.
Yeah.
My first step into mental health was a mental health first aider.
Okay.
So, seeing how you can channel what you want to know into a more formal setting. And
Yes.
that's where the start of everything was. The book, My Little Yellow Book,
Yeah.
my publisher, Joyce Gikunju, who actually pushed me to get into mental health formally. Because she told me, if I'm going to tell people to put you on a podcast or on TV, who are you in the mental health space? She asked me difficult questions.
Yeah.
And that's what actually made me get into the space formally.
Interesting.
Yes.
Now, let's go back. I am very concerned for some people who are still in that space where you were.
Yes.
Where you could not label what was happening to you.
Yes.
The panic attack, the mental illness issues. I mean, all that, the suicide you're talking about, you did not have a label to what that was. Yet, you got through it. I want to understand, how did you navigate through those challenges when you didn't have a label to what they were actually? Right? Because there are many people who are watching.
Yeah.
And they, in fact, you would want to also maybe describe some of those,
Right.
Issues that you talked about. What is panic attack? What is, when you're having suicidal thoughts, what does that look like? Because you could just be walking and we're having suicidal thoughts every day, but
Yes.
we don't know.
It's
We
actually
don't have a
very common.
label.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Very true.
So maybe take us through back a little bit, unpack that for us, that you were going through those challenges. You didn't have a label to them. How did you navigate them
Yeah.
through that?
Interesting enough, when you are sitting in a room,
Yes.
you might be sitting with your family and friends, and all of a sudden, you feel like, if I wasn't here, it wouldn't matter.
Okay.
Conversations would still be the same. So why am I
Okay.
here? And this thought starts expanding into all the other environments. This is what you're talking about when you talk about suicide ideation. If I'm not in this world, who
Who would miss me?
Who would miss me? Is it really making a difference? And then if I jump this light and something happens, would that end my pain?
Okay.
In the suicide first aid course, we actually, there are three core beliefs in the course, which says that nobody wants to end their life. People just want to end their pain.
Okay.
And that's what you try and do. And that's how the ideation comes in, that, no, it's just there's too much pain. And the second core belief is that if we do not know how to respond to this pain, we being me and you, the common monanchi, not even maybe a therapist who formally knows how to do it,
Yes.
if we know how to respond to this pain, then suicide is the most preventable form of death.
Yeah.
So when somebody is expressing their pain, let's not label them as drama queen. This one is just like that.
They love attention.
Attention seeker.
Yeah.
I know her since high school. She was like this. Let's not label them. They're just trying to show you that there's pain.
Yeah.
So try and identify that pain.
Yes.
So that's the first thing I would say. There was a lot of pain, physical pain, emotional pain, and you don't know where it's coming from or what to do. I think one of the things that really saved me and is resiliency.
Okay.
So, we all know that there are things we inherit genetically, right?
Yeah.
And they say suicide ideation to some extent is also genetically inherited.
Tell us more about that.
So I have to research more on the facts and the figures. But did you know the youngest person to have suicided in Kenya, which is an unreported case? So we have reported cases which are formally reported.
Yeah.
And having said that, congratulations to Kenyans, because suicide is no more, a criminal offense. It's Kenya, it's decriminalized.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so hooray to us. But so when suicide is a crime, it's very hard to report. An unreported case in Kenya, youngest person was 7 years old. And you sit and you ask yourself.
7 years old.
You ask yourself, 7.
Okay.
And a reported case.
That was a shocker.
Yes, reported case was 9. And a lot of it, when you will start digging back, maybe not these specific cases, but ideation can come genetically. And when you look at resiliency, just the way we say we are inheriting all these, beautiful features of ours from your mom, you look like your mom, your grandma, you also inherit resiliency genetically.
Yeah.
And resiliency is when you have the ability to go through things, And I heavily feel I inherited that resiliency from my mother's line. When I look at my grandma, my mom's mom, she was heavily resilient. That woman could push through a wall if she had to.
Yeah.
And my mom is the same. However, and as women, we are taught how to be resilient to a point where self-care does not come into play. At least in our generation, we are resilient with boundaries.
Yeah.
And it's okay to be vulnerable. But me being resilient was one of the factors that saved me. That was one.
Okay.
2, the fact that I was always timetabled. I'm a very routined person. And that routine really helps you when you're going through something.
Yeah.
So if you're going through an issue and you think you want to take a walk at 6 a.m., put that alarm and get up and go.
Okay.
Feel what you may. Do it. Set a certain routine. One of the things that happens to you in that space is sleep. You hardly sleep. But even if you're sleeping at 2 a.m. sometimes, have that alarm switch on at 5:30 and force yourself to wake up. It will be hard the first day. It will be hard the second day. You're a human being. The third day you will sleep.
Of course.
And a routine really, really helped me in that situation. Creativity is something else.
Yeah.
I was an art student in my school who used to get kicked out of art class all the time.
Why is that?
Yeah, I was terrible at art. I remember my teacher pleading with my mom, and he told her, please, there are so many talents that she has. Art is not one of them.
Art is not one of them.
But when I was going through that space, what gave me peace was art. And I started decorating glass.
Okay.
And I think it's because there was no pressure of doing something wow or you're going to be graded. I was just doing it to do it.
Yeah.
And it also generated into something that used to give me a side income. Because you have so many art pieces. What do you do with it? So I started selling them off.
Okay. And people actually bought.
Yeah, so I remember making some 60 glass pieces for a conference.
Okay.
And that's what I started doing. So creativity, having a routine. I started doing Bikram yoga. I started, indulging more into sports. What also gave me physical fatigue, so I would get tired faster. So those are some of the tips I think that really, really helped me.
Yeah. While all that was helping you, you were not aware that you were going through that zone.
No idea.
Yeah.
No idea.
But later on is when you put the dots together.
And I think that's what happens. You know after you heal that, oh my God, this is what I was going through. Because there's also denial. Me have suicide thoughts? No way. It can't happen to me.
It happens to all the other people, not me.
Not me. And also this happened at a space where we had no knowledge of mental health. And if you ever told someone, it was just mockery.
It was even embarrassing.
Oh, yes.
It's like from the region where I come from, which is African region. People don't talk about suicide. It is embarrassing. I had suicidal thoughts. No way. In fact, someone was just telling me this story last night, and she told me something very interesting, that a certain culture in Kenya, if you die, and, suicide was the way that you used to, transition to the other life, you are actually kicked and beaten. Your corpse is really harassed. And so the send-off is not supposed to be interesting, it's supposed to be bad. I think it's for the others who are watching to see and learn from that. I don't know, maybe.
That's terrible, because imagine what you're doing to family and friends.
It is
people
hard.
who are significantly affected by this situation.
Already, yes, so that is more painful as it is. But it comes from a place of ignorance. It comes from a place of, this is embarrassing. What if people hear that this happened to our family?
Crazy fact, taking you now back to our neighboring country, Tanzania. There's a region in Tanzania where there's a cultural belief, because their chief suicided. In that culture, if you suicide, you're a hero. How can you say the chief did something bad? If the chief did it, it must be something good.
The chief is a hero already.
Now, I want you to imagine health workers trying to change that perception.
It is you should go there and work there. And help
Very
them out.
interestingly.
You should move there.
But this is the thing. That is why education is heavily needed as well.
Yes.
That we have to, adopt from our culture, but also evolve it. Evolve it into today.
And also question.
Oh, yes.
Our beliefs.
Oh, yes.
Something we were just discussing before this. Let's question. Like you're saying, resilience can be inherited. Look at all the other aspects of your life. What is this? Why do I do what I do? Why is it that I'm easily overwhelmed? Why is it that I easily give up? Why is it,
And I came from a space. The reason I was feeling that way is because of a broken relationship. It was a broken marriage at that time. Oh. And being a young woman, and even now, the stigma attached to it.
Yep.
And how, if there's a failed relationship, it's the woman's fault.
Yes.
And before the society could question me, or personally, I felt judged. I don't know if people were judging me or not. I felt judged. Yeah. So also coming from a space, when you go through something like that, just know it's fine. It's life. Those things happen. And sometimes we are judging ourselves in our head. It's not even the world telling you anything.
We are very harsh to ourselves. Yes. Apparently, we are very harsh to ourselves. We are our worst critics.
Yes.
So I might say.
Yes.
And if you're not careful, you'll push yourself to a corner and lock yourself in there.
Yeah.
And actually get, some of those things that we've been talking about, the suicidal thoughts and all that. Now, tell us something, Sakina. With this education, how can that be used as a tool to prevent mental illness? Because you've discussed about it in passing.
Yes.
How can we be more intentional using this tool called education?
If there's one thing I'd like to say is, let's not make mental health just fashion.
Okay.
Something that we just want to talk about on social media to get likes.
Yeah.
Because mental health is serious.
Yeah.
I want you to imagine a doctor giving information about cancer, right? And just somebody whose family or friend has been through cancer. Those are two different perspectives, both very important, right? But one also comes from a point of experience, but empathy. Mm-hmm. So what they will provide for you is a safe space, is an environment.
Yes.
What the doctor will provide for you is solutions. So you ask yourself when you're on that platform or as a person in the mental health space, do you want to provide empathy only or do you want to provide solutions?
Yeah.
And I'll tell you one thing. In the suicide first aid course, you're taught what exactly do you talk about when you go and talk about suicide. There's one thing that I have noticed when we want to talk about suicide, we'll try and bring in people to give their experience, what they went through, and it's dramatic, but we don't know who's hearing about it on the other side, or the other side of the camera, or the other side of the microphone. And what this does is it traumatizes the person. So instead of talking about lived experience, why not talk about prevention in a certain way where if you are going through the ideation, instead of learning from them of how they did what they did and picking what you want to, what you want to do, you're going to say, oh my God, I'm going through the same thing, but this is how I can prevent it.
Yes.
So education will teach you how to state things in the correct manner. There's a delivery process in what you do, especially in terms of mental health. Getting education will also give you the tools to help yourself and others.
Yes.
Remember the oxygen mask.
Yes,
When
yes.
you're on a flight,
Yes.
your oxygen mask first.
Yes.
But if you don't know how to put on an oxygen mask, or if you're not listening to, the steward or the stewardess when they're teaching you how to do it, when that thing pops, you will start looking at everyone.
And you panic.
Exactly. But if you know, been there, done that, I've seen how it works, this is how it works, you're very comfortable doing it yourself and helping, maybe not even the person next to you, but also the passenger after.
Yes.
So education gives you tools to be able to work in the moment and efficiently.
Yeah.
That is why we still have people going to school.
Yes.
That is why we have curriculums developing and changing, because you have to evolve with time.
Yes.
And that's why I say when talking about mental health, being an empath is not enough. It is very good because that's the start of your journey.
Yes.
But go into what really, really touches your heart and know more about that. Get preventive tools. How would you intervene? If somebody was to attempt right now in this particular building, what would we do? As common, as a common Monanchi, what would I do? I'm not a therapist. But that's what education teaches you. And what are you taking out of your life? 3 hours to learn it? 4 hours to learn it?
Yeah. It's a skill.
It's a skill.
A lifetime skill.
Not just with suicide. Stress management, healthy parenting, nutrition.
Yes.
There is so much that you can learn about and implement in the wellness industry.
Yeah.
So I urge people to go out there and get some sort of a formal education and take advantage of the coaches and the trainers that we have in this country to be able to get there.
Yes. We have free webinars going on every other day.
Yes.
Possibly topics that you would never, go to or, you would not resonate with, but just go in there and learn something.
Yes.
In fact, I noticed in my WhatsApp status, what I do is I put up webinars. If I see free webinars, whatever, I'll pick them from wherever and put them there. So whoever cares to see, whoever cares to attend, will attend. So there's a particular lady, she doesn't know I know this, but I've been tracking her, and she's always been joining these webinars. Wow. She doesn't comment, she doesn't say nothing, but I have always seen her name commonly in all those rooms. Whatever it is about, she's there. We are talking about men, she's there. We're talking about ladies, talking about children. I've seen her, and I've seen that consistency, and I know it's a hunger. Because you first have to hunger and realize I need to know more. What I know is not all there is to know. First, create that gap, create that space, then go and look for whatever it is that you need.
Yep.
Now, demystify something for us. There are people who will go like, I know they're talking about this, they have money, they can go and pay, for all this, all this education stuff they're talking about. I don't have money, I'm just at home, a stay-at-home mom. I'm in another zone right there. But I'm still feeling a bit left out. I'm feeling, a bit awkward, a bit sidelined. What would you tell this mama who is watching and she's thinking, that is not for me? I'm not going for these PhD things. Not anytime soon.
Yeah.
I've taken a sabbatical, I'm taking care of my children. What would you say to such a woman?
I would say the world is on your palm,
Good.
which is your phone. Stop doom scrolling.
Say
You
that
know?
again.
Stop doom scrolling. There is so much material to learn out
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Yes, I'm studying my PhD.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
However, I cannot do my sessions without a practitioner who is trained in chair yoga. Because a lot of the stress management sessions we do is for corporates. I cannot tell a corporate, please buy a yoga mat now, we are going to take you outside. Where is the time? So we give them little tips on how to stretch and feel relieved by chair yoga.
Yeah.
But she hasn't done a PhD in chair yoga. She has done a chair yoga practice. I cannot do my practice without somebody who does practical solutions to mental health. You know, be it mindfulness, somebody who comes and teaches you a small meditation. So by education, I do not mean go out there and get a PhD. If you can, well and good.
Yep.
Africa needs researchers, especially in the mental wellness space. But do the small things that you can right from home. Mental health first aid. I didn't go anywhere to do it. I got a UK certification sitting right at my desk. Right at my desk in a month.
Were you looking for it or it just came to you?
So when I was publishing my book and Joyce Gikunju told me that, Sakina, who are you in the mental health space? She really made me question myself that why should people listen to me and what exactly do I want to do? And I was coming from a space of I'm an empath, I want to help. But what is that one thing I can do to structure my help? Right? And I was looking online for what can I do? What can I do? And I came across mental health first aid, and I'm like, what? See, I have these St. John's certificate. So what is mental health first aid? And I realized it's first aid for the head. And I'm like, I've never heard this. Pretty fascinating, pretty basic, what I needed at that time.
Yeah.
And I went right into it. Our classes used to be, I think, 3 hours on a Friday. That's it. That's
Virtual or in person?
virtual.
Okay.
This was in 2021. So it took me 3 hours for 4 days to kickstart a journey which has brought me to my PhD. It didn't happen overnight. And once you step in and you tell the universe, this is what I want, the doors that are going to open. My ICF coach, I didn't pay a shilling for the course. We had a very seasoned lady, Tasmina, and she was offering coaching to a couple of women. And she got in touch with one of my mentors, and her name is Azmina, and Azmina recommended my name. And I was so lucky to get an ICF certificate. I didn't pay a shilling for it, but it is because of the service I was giving. After I did my mental health certificate, I didn't sit with it at home. I started having sessions. It was still COVID. I used to have sessions with small people. I had a garden space when I was living, and we used to talk about mental health, and that's where it started. So start small. Start small, but be structured. There are so many short courses out there. Short courses on how to start meditation. How to do yoga. Start small, and it's inexpensive. You can go and buy a cup of coffee for 350 or spend about 5,000, 10,000 on meals. Just tell yourself, this month I am investing in me. And I am going to get a certain certification, and this is going to take me a step forward. And that's what we mean by education.
Right. I like it that you've really demystified it. It's not out there, and it's not for just those people and those other people. And another way I've also realized that you can keep yourself updated as we continue. Like you've said, we have so many even audiobooks for free.
Oh, yes.
You know, as you're cooking, like I have a meal that I cook called chapati that takes hours. I don't even know why we love it. It's too tedious. But as I'm cooking it, I have like an hour or two rolling those things. But I'm having something, I'm listening to something. I have an audiobook. By the time I'm through, I've done a whole audiobook and I'm done.
And in my business space, I have a friend and he's a lawyer. He's called Rasugu. And he says, make your car your university.
True.
When you're driving around, this traffic, just put on a
traffic
podcast.
Happens, 1.5 hours, 1 hour. That is a lot of time. Instead of listening to, it's okay to listen to this beautiful music and all that, and the gossip, it is juicy, but just be very intentional. in at least learning something new
Yeah.
every day.
Yeah. And, talking about being intentional, also
Yeah.
giving yourself, instead of even listening to a podcast for an hour, because personally, I don't have that capacity,
Okay.
that focus. I actually enjoy listening to something when I have somewhere to write. Because I rather listen to you for 30 minutes and get
Yes.
3 tips than
Yes.
listen to you 1.5 and say, that was very nice, very nice. And then tomorrow,
made
what
you-
happens? You've forgotten
It made you feel so nice, and then that's it.
So I do it when I'm either walking
Yeah.
or just sitting on my desk. So also be intentional
Yeah.
about what you want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Now tell us some of the patterns you've observed in people who have been very intentional with their mental wellness. Because we have those ones who know
Yeah.
now what mental wellness is, and they're consciously walking in that journey, doing what it takes, putting in the work. So what are some of the patterns you've observed in these people?
So patterns in people who understand their mental wellness.
Yes.
One is the understanding that it's never over,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So in your journey of life, it's not like you will be depressed or feel anxious or burnout once done. Okay, my quota of this is done now.
yeah.
No, it's a recurring process.
Okay.
So what they have done is they have identified a couple of activities that work best for them.
Okay.
What suits their lifestyle.
Yes.
For example, for me, it's meditation.
Yeah.
If you're close to me
Yes.
and you're seeing me edgy and irritated and, going through something, the first question you're going to ask me is, "See, when was the last time you sat in meditation?" Because that is what helps me. So for the people who are able to deal with your mental wellness, what is helping them? Is it the gym? Is it a walk? Is it being with family and friends? That's very important. Don't isolate yourselves.
Yeah.
What is that one thing? Because it's different for different people
Yes,
that
yes.
you do, which really, really helps you, get yourself together. The other thing for me is traveling alone. There
Okay.
is nothing I love more than traveling on my own.
Okay.
It just gives me that time out with myself. So identify what works best for
Yeah.
you.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be an expensive practice.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be something you're going to do for hours. 10 minutes a day. More than enough.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So Sakina, what does intentional living look like when you talk about mental illness? What is being intentional in that space? I know you've talked about finding out what works for you. Like for me, I love taking long walks, like really long ones. Like I can do 1 hour and 30 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, just by myself very briskly and just being out there. That makes me and helps me really clear up very fast. Like the fogginess goes
Yeah.
and I'm clear.
That's lovely that you've actually identified it.
Yeah, so it's good for people to identify
Yes.
what works for them.
Yes.
Because for each person, it's
different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For empaths, you've said, empaths are just in their own zone. They're mostly introverts. Yeah, they want to be in their own space and they enjoy being in their own energy and they like that. So being able to identify what works for you, again, really, really does help. But now, tell us, what does intentional living look like from a mental wellness perspective?
I think one of the things is setting your boundaries. So, for example, if you want to wake up at 5:30 a.m.,
Yes.
you have to be in bed by 9:30.
Of course, yeah.
Personal boundary, I am not going to touch that phone. I will put it on
Yes.
silent and that's it. That's a personal boundary. All right? Probably there is a gathering. It might be family, it might be friends, it might be just, let's catch up for a drink or dinner. And if you have to do that at 5:30, you're just going to excuse yourself.
Yeah.
And it's okay.
Yeah.
Don't feel guilty. So
Okay.
to be intentional, you have to set the pace for it. So for example, if you want to go to the gym early in the morning, if you're going to prep your clothes at night, high chances you're going to wake up and go to the gym. The clothes
True.
are also right there.
True.
Just like that, when you want to be intentional about doing something, be intentional about the process of it as well.
Yeah.
So I would say that's one thing about intentional living. And then ask yourself, what about this practice really hits home to me? So let me ask you this question. What about walking for a long, hour or so? What exactly does it do?
It removes the fogginess.
Okay.
It removes that that feeling overwhelmed. Especially when I'm feeling overwhelmed and I start walking. The minute I think I associate walking with removing the weight of my shoulders. I think it's something that I've not quite articulated to myself, but that is what happens. That the first step I take is I'm leaving some stuff off my shoulder, because by the time I come back, I'm feeling very lightweight and I'm able to allow a lot of creativity in.
Wow.
So if I want to do something very important, have some work that I consider very important to me, I will first take that walk, clear up all the fogginess and all that. And by the time I'm back, I feel so fresh, ready to concentrate and lock in.
Wow.
Yeah, and it works all the time for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would say the fact that you do that regularly
Yes.
is intentional living. Don't wait to get to a space where you're falling apart. Now you start looking for glue to put yourself back together.
Yeah.
As soon as you're going to do it every single day and you're going to set it up in your routine,
Yes.
and you'll be intentional about it, I don't want to have brain fog, and hence I'm going to walk.
Yeah.
So you're not reaching that point of, I even have to cancel the podcast today because I just cannot.
Yeah.
Don't reach to that level.
Yeah, yeah.
Intentional living is also when you know what to do to avoid the extreme circumstance. So that is what you call intentional living. You don't want to get, so with intention, you're going to set that routine
Yes.
of doing things more regularly.
Yeah.
And that's what I would define as
Yeah.
intentional living.
Nice.
Yeah.
What I'm hearing you say is I should not wait until I'm breaking down. I should not wait until I get to that point of no return. That now I need a therapist. Now I need to really, maybe see a specialist. Okay, it is okay to see a specialist, but in between, in there, I feel like what you're saying is let's put in the work in small doses, so that you don't get your cup full of the stress and overwhelming and all whatever it is, and then you're looking at what is the solution now.
Have you heard of people going for routine checkups?
Rarely.
Yeah. But it's highly
Rarely,
advisable.
but it is advisable.
Especially after a certain age. You will see
Yes.
people go for routine checkups, and you will see
You don't wait for anything to be wrong.
There's Cancer Awareness Month, and tell you, please go do your pap smear, or
Yeah.
do these certain tests, or
Yes.
do a blood test once. And sometimes annually you also just have a ritual. Some people have a ritual. Let me just go and get myself checked.
Yeah.
Please treat therapy the same way. Don't wait until you're on a ventilator to now go
Yes.
and ask for assistance.
Yeah.
See your therapist once in a while. See
Yeah.
a therapist once in a
Yeah,
while.
yeah, yeah.
And if not therapy, go for healing sessions that make you feel better. It could be a get-together. It could be a space where people are talking about mental wellness.
Yes.
It could also just be a space where you're learning something new. Physical activity, Zumba, all that is you trying to handle yourself.
Yes.
So try and indulge in those sort of activities as well. Don't wait until the very last moment to go and now get yourself checked.
Yeah.
Do these things regularly.
Interesting. Now, what legacy do you hope to achieve? What do you want to leave with us? Because now, with all this that you're putting out, one day, some 50 years to come, or no, not 50, 100 years to come, you want to be remembered. You want to be remembered that you brought this here, you brought this awareness here. What do you want to be remembered for?
There's one objective I have in my life, and there's one objective that I use at work and everything I do.
Okay.
I ask myself, how is this fulfilling my objective? My objective is that the suicide rate in Africa should be 0.
Nice.
And I always go to the drawing board and say, if I am studying this, if I am going to this podcast, if I am talking about stress management, is it helping me achieve that one objective, just one objective that I have?
Yeah.
And I would like to be remembered as somebody who assisted, who provided when nobody understood you, right? There was this one person who built an entire community.
Yeah.
We have over 150 suicide first aid students.
Okay.
And we are all one community. We've built this community where on a monthly or bi-monthly basis, we get onto Zoom and we call an expert And they teach us more on mental wellness and also fun practices to do. And what happens is, if people know that somebody else is behaving funny, all of a sudden I can't get in touch with them, they're in a very low space, they reach out to us. They reach out to Impasto Ventures, and these superstars, our suicide first aid students, actually take up this small case, and they're in touch with this individual for 24 hours. Because after 24 hours, your suicide ideation comes down.
Okay.
And I will tell you, Becky, last year, the amount of calls and people we assisted, it is phenomena and scary at the same time. Teenagers. The prevalence of suicide among teenagers is so high.
What do you think is bringing that for our teenagers? What is the main culprit?
There are a lot of factors.
Okay.
Teenagers nowadays are slightly more woke and they understand themselves way better,
of course,
than the generations before them.
Yes, they do.
That's one. Two, because mental health has become a bit fashionable, in your early teens, going to a therapist is also something you can tell your friends about.
Yeah.
Fortunately or unfortunately, it's a good thing.
Yeah.
But then what I am realizing, and this is from personal experience, is by the age of 18, 16 to 18, they have literally therapist hopped. I'll try this therapist, I'll try that therapist. And a therapist is very sacred. I have only seen one therapist in my life, because I connect to that therapist. And you know how re-traumatizing it is to sit and tell my story to each and every therapist. So for me, that therapist knows me and knows me well.
Yes.
So that's what I feel one of the drawbacks are of the younger generation. It's trying to have different, it's like going to different doctors for the same thing. They're all going to give you maybe a different style to cope. And it's too heavy. They're also coming up in a generation where just to sit and do nothing and just be is very difficult. There's overstimulation. Since you're a kid, whatever you're watching on TV, it's very overstimulating. What you're seeing on social media, we have so many instances where people are sending their goodbye messages on social media.
Yes, I have that.
And this could be somebody you idolize. And you're like, oh, this is the solution. And that's why I say there's an etiquette to talk about suicide prevention. And like, oh, this is what's going to end my pain. Fine, let me follow suit. So these are some of the things that are really, escalating the suicide rates. And we have to realize that we live in a very busy world. I'll give you this example that I give. Let's say today the flights are closed, but if an airline, a very famous airline, would say, okay, everything is going on in the world. There are missiles being thrown around. Tickets to my country in our country 80% off. With what's going on in the Arab world, would you take that flight there?
Oh, I don't think so.
80% off, Becky. You don't need a holiday. Would you buy that ticket for your family and friends? If an airline told you that we have an 80% chance this week of our flight crashing, right? 80% chance of it crashing, but you only pay 20% for your flight ticket. Would you take that holiday with your family?
So.
Why?
I don't think so.
You're not going to
the
take
risk
the chance.
is too high.
What do airlines do?
I want to get there alive and enjoy myself.
What do airlines do to ensure that safety is highest? Are their pilots trained to handle an emergency situation? Obviously. Stewards trained and stewardesses trained? Obviously. Are the engineers trained for safety? Yes.
Of course.
They make all the, the doors and...
Yeah.
Are the ground staff trained for safety?
Definitely.
Exactly. Because if something happens, if the airline is they can help out. So much so that for an airline, a lot of the times, the person cutting your ticket at the office, who is not even at the airport, is trained for safety.
Yes.
This is the measure they take to ensure safety is at its peak.
Yeah.
Now let me ask you, wherever your kids are studying, and ask yourself that question. Are the teachers well aware of mental health? Are they trained to deal with mental health issues?
We need to ask them. We need to ask
Are
them.
they trained to handle suicide ideation? They're not. It's not their fault. It's not in the curriculum.
It's not in the
But if we are not going to learn how to tell the signs that there's something wrong with this engine, so we can't take off, how will we keep safe? And that is why education is so important. It helps you learn the early signs.
Yeah. Now take us back. I still want to double click on the teenagers. I recently heard of a story of a teenager who asked ChatGPT what would be the quickest, painless way to end their life. I don't know if it was a he or a she. I had the child was like 13, 14, and how they knew that that is what happened. They found
History.
the history in the ChatGPT. So the mother found it. I think she made it public, and she wanted to help other kids. Now, how best can we help our children and teach them, right, the dangers out there? How can we teach them how to prevent this kind of things and break it down to their level of understanding, knowing that they are really surrounded with all this social media and ChatGPT is available? Ask ChatGPT whatever, you get it. How do we educate our children and bring it to their level? We're talking about 13, 14,
Yep.
15-year-olds, even 12-year-olds.
Yes, yeah. We're talking about anybody who knows how to use a phone.
Anyone, which is even an 8-year-old.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So what I would say is it is not a one person or a parent's responsibility.
Okay.
It is the responsibility of the entire society,
True.
including government bodies.
Yeah.
Where are the policies? Where are the policies that state these are the sites that we are allowing our citizens to use to be able to get information? Because ChatGPT will tell you what you've asked it, but there's some sites which, when you ask them about suicide, about methodology, they're not going to respond. But they're going to tell you, kindly contact this particular number,
Yes,
or
a
these are the
helpline.
ways to feel better. And I have tried this out. But where are those helplines now? Here in Kenya.
I don't know.
And that is why we have to have better policy. We have to have better regulation. We have to give our kids viable sites that will help them.
Yeah.
And I will give you one today.
Okay.
LVCT is a wonderful foundation doing great things. And they have a chatbot. They have a chatbot for mental health. And we normally give this chatbot link to those who are having suicide ideation when they learn about suicide first aid. So go and search LVCT and look for their chatbot.
Yeah.
That will help you. And as somebody who has a teenager in the house, make them aware that, maybe sometimes you can't talk to us.
Yeah.
Or nighttime is a time where you have these thoughts that are eating you up and maybe we are asleep. Use this chatbot. Instead of now them going and finding a bot that will tell them everything that might just assist them to end their life.
Yeah.
And again, this is why education is important.
Right.
You get to know the do's and the don'ts of everything and what is the most extreme measure, because you can't stop your kids from using social media. You can't stop your kids from using ChatGPT. I remember we used to be penalized if we took like a device to school. Which kid does not have a laptop in this day and age? We have to evolve with technology,
yes, we
but
do.
we have to do it responsibly. We have, with great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah.
And we all know where that has come from. So we need to be able to practice this. So don't wait for them to get into a situation where they want to ask any ChatGPT site. But give them that link and tell them, here it is. You're not feeling this today, but tomorrow, especially when kids go to uni, it's the first time they're leaving the nest. So much excitement, but also they go and, oh my God, what do you mean? I have to pay a bill. Mom does everything. Mom does groceries.
Clean for myself.
Clean the bathroom. Oh my God. No, they go through things.
Yes.
Just prep them well.
Now, still on the teenagers, allow me to just stretch this a little bit more. What are those signs that parents should look out for? That your child is getting mildly depressed or getting, issues with their mental health. What are some physical signs that we need to look out for?
One, as a parent, always know their environment. What is happening in school? Kids don't really open up about their school life too much. We are very lucky to have parents nowadays who are indulged. Try and find out what they like doing, and what are they doing due to peer pressure. Being there for your child. And it's not like parents are not there for their child, but you have to understand life is expensive, life is hectic. You have to go and work to make sure you're giving them a good education.
Yeah.
You have to come home, make sure they are well fed. And demands are not small nowadays. People need all these gadgets just to do basic work or basic tech. You need your basic technology tools. But one of the things would be just know their environment. The one thing I would really pray parents do is don't take things like vaping lightly. I had a source, and the source would tell me different sites that send things like vapes on Bolt. And those vapes was not the normal vapes. They used to have marijuana inside them.
Oh.
And some sort of chemicals. Now, as a parent, when you're sitting and vaping and you think vaping with your 16 or 15-year-old is okay because you're a cool parent, just think of the effects they're going to have later on.
Yeah.
And for you, you might be vaping. But this website that is sending people these vapes, which has different chemicals in them, is a very legit vape. You can order it and you'll get it right now. But what's in that vape? It's only the people who are ordering it.
Legal?
It's not, but how do you check?
Okay.
And the guy transporting it, poor thing, has no idea what he's doing.
What is in the package?
What is in the package? But again, where's the policy? We want to go pro-tobacco. Just because of income. Where's the policy? So I know we sometimes want to be, and it's good we are being friendly with our kids, but also try and draw these boundaries.
Yeah.
Draw these boundaries where you are still the parent of the child. You're still and I've seen very different styles of parenting, and I admire them all. I literally admire them all because parenting is a very difficult journey. I'm not a parent. I will never be able to understand that journey until maybe I am not a parent. But strict parents, not strict parents, parents who allow to eat their kids all sort of junk, parents who just say, oh, no healthy food. All your kids are wonderful. But do things with limitation. The other thing is just check, does the punishment fit the crime? Sometimes somebody has failed a test. The crime is your holiday is cancelled. 3 months summer vacation, you're now just at home. Does the crime, does it fit the punishment? So it's in this day and age, it's hard because when we were kids, we just used to get, that's it. You even know what's coming. You're even told, go fetch the pipe. But does the crime fit the punishment?
Yeah.
And that's what you should look at. If it's a mistake, it's something else. Instead of punishing me and not taking me for vacation because I failed a math test, okay, you know what? 2 weeks or 2 days of your vacation, let's get a math tutor. Let's look for the solution.
Yeah.
So I'm not just punishing you, and now you're even becoming aggressive.
Yeah.
Right? So look for solutions when it comes to such problems. But parenting is a hard journey.
It is a hard
journey.
Let me tell you, Sakina, just reminded me of a story that happened to me. When I was young, I think I was 13, or was I 13? Somewhere there, maybe 13 or 14. And I was quite an adventurous kid, and I loved dogs, and we didn't have a dog then. So I had been warned severally not to play with the dogs from the neighbors. So this particular day, I played with this dog that I really loved. My mom was not at home, so I knew, of course, she would not figure it out. And I went there and played with the dog, and I got bit. Oh! A chunk of my stomach area. It was a huge chunk, right? And, of course, I was bleeding and all that. But I remembered my mother. The pain was nothing. Thinking of my mother's wrath, that is where the pain was. So I remember going home thinking, the punishment, what will I be punished? Like, what will happen to me? I might just be killed or skinned alive, because of the threats. Not that I'd been skinned alive before, but the threats that our parents gave us. And so I remember sitting at home, and I'm there shivering because now the fevers are going high. And I'm there trying to cover it up and trying to do my homework, and it's painful. I still remember the details like it's yesterday. And I'm now sweating, and it's now getting bad. And my mom is like, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Do your homework. And my sister goes just very casually, she got beat by that dog. I don't know. I got a good beating.
Oh my God. Now you're in pain already.
I'm in
You might be
pain.
needing injections.
But the beating was not, I don't think she was coming from a bad space. And she got shocked, like thinking rabies, thinking all those things, what might come out of this. So the shock for our parents was, I beat you first, then I'm thinking
reaction.
Yes, the reaction. They used to react first. And then the rest of it is history, because I was taken to hospital and I got all those jabs, a whole week worth of jabs, I think 5 or 7. But I'm just saying, like you're saying, what you're saying is very important. Let us measure the punishment we're giving our children. Is it, let's look at whatever the crime was, whatever we call the crime.
Yeah.
Because again, that pushes our children to another extreme.
Yeah.
We push them out, and so next time something happens to them, they will not come to us.
One thing I've observed is, when we were growing up, you are not raised by just your mom or your dad. You are raised by the neighbors, the community.
They used to beat me up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But back in the day, parents did not have the urge of starting to fight with the people who were disciplining you. The definition of discipline was also very different.
Yeah.
But if your child is doing something in public, because sometimes they behave a certain way and you're like, this is unacceptable, but who am I to say something?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, even close family nowadays, it's like they tread on eggshells when they're dealing with children.
Yeah. Things have
Just
changed.
allow a small circle of people to have that authority to tell your child, hey, look, I don't think this is cool. But if you're going to interject and say, no, this is my child and I will discipline him, it's very difficult.
It's
very difficult. Have a small circle of people who you have given permission to. If you see my child doing X, Y, Z, right? In that moment, right? Discipline them. This is the way I discipline my child. You don't want
the boundaries.
You don't want,
again,
give
they
the
don't
boundaries.
kill your child.
Yeah, and they're not hitting the child. But if I come from an auntie's point of view, the kid might be able to hear me better than your parents, because your parents, there's always that authoritative, sound. So I think that is also another healthy technique that we have forgotten, because it's my child. So a lot of the times you'll see when you speak to teachers, the teacher says, this one, let them, even if they want to paint the walls red, please let them. This one's mom, she just comes to make noises. So
it's the drama queen we were talking about.
But allow the teacher to be able to have that boundary with the child to say, excuse me, this is not allowed. And if you're going to do ABC, this is what we are going to do. And your parents are on board, because then the kids are smart. They start playing, my mom said this, but I'm not allowed to do this.
And they have different personalities. The personality for school and the personality for home. Totally. So you need to work together with the teacher to get to know how to help this child grow holistically to this adult that we want, who is, well organized.
When a teacher is voicing out something about your child, please listen. We know that is the apple of your eye, the best child in the whole universe is yours.
Yeah.
But just listen, work in collaboration.
Good.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that a lot. All right. We need to invite you to our schools now.
We actually carry out sessions with teachers to make them understand themselves first, and then how exactly can they help teenagers in that space. There's a suicide first aid course for people who are helping out young adults and children, because the way kids and young adults think is very different from adults. So the way you're going to approach them in that situation is also very different.
Interesting. My gosh, I have learned so much.
I'm glad.
Every time I sit with you, Sakina, I see so many other angles. It's like something that just keeps opening, like other portals open, and so many just things happen.
I'll tell you something small but profound. So Impasto Ventures works heavily in the corporate space. And what Impasto Ventures is doing now is we have an app. And this app allows you as the employee to weigh out where do you stand individually in terms of stress, burnout, depression. And when you come to know where you stand, what can you do about it in the moment and in the long run? And the app has things for different mental wellness issues for an entire year plus. The positive thing about this is that reports don't go to HR. When the reports do go to HR, they will be in percentage form. So it doesn't state that Becky's results state that her
Yeah.
stress level is this high, but Sakina's burnout level is this high. It goes as in your company, 29% of people are suffering depression, while 78% are suffering, this burnout or stress. 20% of people used this particular technique to be able to assist them, and after that, this month, this has happened. So you're getting a percentage. So HR knows what is working. They might be doing, and this is what I do, you might be doing a sales training for your sales team, but there's a reason you hired them, because their sales CV was very good.
Yeah.
So it's not the sales that's the issue. It's probably something they're going through at home. And they will find the solution there, because who do you talk to in your workspace? And such an app is so profound because it's personal, but also the company, because they have to work in a structure, get a report keeping the privacy of employees. And we're going through the demo stage of this phase, and I'll be very excited if you join me on the demo as well.
Yeah. I'm planning to come. We have a date next
Yes.
week, remember? But apart from that, I'm sure my community, if somebody is watching from somewhere and they're really interested in knowing about how this works, I'm sure we are going to put down the description.
Yes,
Yeah,
for sure.
we're going
Yes.
to just put down a good offer
Yes.
for my community.
Yes.
So that once they watch this video, they're going to see all the other details
Yep.
included, plus
Yes.
the other offers that you're going to tell us just in a bit.
Yes.
But before that, there's a question I need to ask before we close, and the question is this. This is off mute, all right? So I want to find out, in a very brief way, for Sakina, what does being unmuted look like?
Being unmuted for me is being true to myself. No matter who you are on the other side, my boundaries don't come down.
Beautiful. Well said. Don't even add anything.
That's
Perfect. Perfect. Now, tell us about the offers we have, because my community, I know there are people who they love education. They want to learn more. They've had so much of what we've talked about, the apps, the suicide prevention classes and all that, stress management classes. Would you kindly tell us if there's an offer coming?
Sure.
Yeah.
So, Becky, for your community, what I am going to do is I'm going to have a masterclass series during the month of May. So, May is Mental Health Month.
Mm-hmm.
And during this particular month, we're going to pick a certain time on a Saturday just for an hour for 4 days during the weekends. And we're going to teach you how to manage your stress. And we're going to give you tools. So it's not going to be a talk. It's going to be fun sessions where we teach you how can you manage different aspects of your life and how can you pass those tools on to your family, your friends, your kids. We will be learning games. We will be teaching you different techniques to be able to manage your space. Are you excited for that?
I am so excited. Sakina, I'm so excited. So very excited, because this is very practical. This is what we need. These are skills that we need in our lives day to day. So I will be your first class student, and then I'm sure we will have so many others join us. But thank you so much for being so candid, for being so open, vulnerable, sharing your life with us, and bringing us to that space of awareness, a space where we were not aware about before.
Oh, it's always such a pleasure to be here.
Yes. Thank you so very much. I'm looking forward to having you again, and I know we'll have another topic. We will not be discussing that right now, but we will share with our community in due time. So everybody, remember that intentional living starts now. It is not something that you plan for. It is in the little things that you do every other day. So choose to have love, choose joy, and choose peace. Until next time, it's Off Mute with Becky. Thank you. Bye.